Tonight, Q's latest posts seem to prove that he is near President Trump. And is there an even more incredible story hidden within these last few posts? Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. For those of you who don't know, every one of these episodes starts with me thanking you, the subscribers, because you guys are what make this channel work. Now, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please come here to the landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way, you'll be notified when these videos get posted, because as soon as information is made available to me, I make it available to you. Now, we're going to jump right into the latest post here, and if you guys want to get caught up as to where we're at, I certainly would encourage you to go back here, watch the last few videos. This would be a great place to start if you just want to get caught up to where we're at now. If you want to get caught up even more, go back and watch even more. There's so much information and it just keeps coming. So I encourage everyone to go back. And if you don't know what QAnon is and you're kind of new to this, watch this video here. It gives you a full breakdown and ways to get involved and to follow this information more closely and to understand what QAnon and the Great Awakening are. Also, this is a great video to share the link on. So if you guys want to come share that video, share the link. It'll definitely red pill some people, that's for sure. Now, that being said, before we get into the latest Q post, we're going to talk about how there's almost like these confirmations of Q. We're actually going to talk about a post from before that I said I'd get back to, and now I'm going to get back to it, as I said I would, because it needs to be looked at. And I'll show you it right now, but okay, and it's this post right here from the 18th, and it basically, June 18th, 2018, and it's Q posts this picture of a post he put up before saying, "Would you believe Hussein tried to call Kim prior to the summit? He did not have his updated phone number. 3 North Korean generals released, closed the pathway for bad actors, Q." Q responds, "Oddest catchy exchange regarding POTUS private calls with Kim. New number via iPhone. How did that particular senator know that kind of highly classified intel?" Q. Okay. On the 18th, this is what Q told us. He says, how did that particular senator know that kind of highly classified intel? Talking about how President Trump was on an iPhone. Well, what was that? I didn't know what that was referencing until I saw this letter from June 7th that is actually written and sent by Dianne Feinstein, Ron Wyden, Martin Heinrich, and Richard Durbin, 3 or 4 U.S. senators. And what this letter actually says is that they're worried about they're basically worried about national security. Yeah, right. I believe that about as much as I believe that, the tooth fairy is going to come give me money for my lost tooth. But what this document actually outlines is the way that they are concerned about President Trump's usage of cell phones that are not secured. And this basically actually points to the fact that here's what was interesting about what they say in this letter. When it talks about what kind of cell phone the president is using, it's pretty specific, and it actually outlines it very closely. Saying right here, while citing an article out of Politico, that the report suggests that not only does President Trump use an unsecured cell phone to make calls, but that cell phone is also equipped with a camera and microphone that could be used to spy on the president and listen in on classified national security discussions. Furthermore, this letter goes on to cite that there's the possibility of cell site simulator technology that could be used to intercept President Trump's cellular signal and then be basically downloading and monitoring all of his information and possibly even hacking into the cell phone. But my answer to this is that this has got to be a joke, because you really think the President of the United States is just going to go to like a Verizon store and buy a cell phone? No, I think that even if he did, he would give it to the NSA or the CIA, or probably the NSA and military intelligence at this point, and they would fix it and they would make it so that it could not be hacked. But these people just will go off of anything, and it's almost like a message being sent here, some kind of veiled message. And it's important, I think, that Q brought it up right after this happened. Q gave us this post talking about the North Korean generals, and then even later, he references back to, I think, the senator knowing of what was going on that cell phone. We're going to talk about this a little bit more too, so you guys just stick around for that. Now, this is the latest post. So an Anon writes to Q saying basically, come on Q, who is it? And like I said, if you want to catch up to where we are, this is where we left off, and it's a picture that I, at the time, I don't know if I guessed it in the last video, but I definitely figured it out either in that video or shortly thereafter. That looks like an eye. That looks like an ear. This looks like kind of a part of President Trump's face. And Q says, what a wonderful day, Q. Now it says, come on, Q, who is it? This is the owl photo all over again. A lot happened today, and Anons are focusing on an expletive blurry photo of some old man ended already. Q responds, 45. Okay, so we know who it is. That's President Trump, the 45th president of the United States. That answers your question right there. Now, what's interesting here is the next one. So you have Q posting this picture, and it seems once you look at it and kind of make it bigger, you can see this is President Trump's face. This is what would appear to be like a cell phone camera. And there's some theories about what this could mean, but obviously this means that Q is in there with Trump and President Trump. And the thing is called, the picture is called iPhone Twitter White House. And why is this important? Well, we're going to see in a minute why it's important, because something happened that is another proof of Q that you guys can mark down to say, not only is he giving us pictures of him with President Trump in the White House, in the Oval Office basically, but there is so this is at 7:16 Eastern time. So remember that time. At 7:17, President Trump actually tweeted out. And what tweet was that? Well, that was here, talking about earlier today, and the First Lady of the United States, Melania, and President Trump were honored to welcome King Felipe and Queen Letizia of Spain to the White House at 7:17. So exactly 1 minute after Q posted this saying iPhone, Twitter, White House, so a tweet coming from the White House, maybe he's telling us. You have Q saying, what a coincidence, Twitter shot in the Oval, and next a tweet, Q. So he sends us a picture of President Trump from inside the Oval Office, and 1 minute later, a tweet is put out by the president, and the name on the file that was sent a minute before was called Twitter. How many more proofs of Donald Trump do you guys need, or proofs, excuse me, proofs of Q do you need before you understand that he's right there with Donald Trump every day? But that's, most of you guys are probably already on board, so I'm not telling you guys anything new. I just think this is a fascinating new set of proofs for Q that, I mean, they're getting to the point of being undeniable, right? So Q puts this picture of the text from that tweet and the time, which is 7:17, and this post being at 7:16. And he's saying, what a coincidence. Well, not a coincidence if you're taking Twitter pictures in the Oval Office and next tweet. Oh, okay. So that's what that is. Then Q responds again saying to his own tweet here, and he says, what a coincidence, Twitter shot in the Oval Office next to a tweet, like we just read, and it said 1 minute Delta conspiracy Q. No, not a conspiracy. That is all checked out. There was a 1 minute delay, and yeah, there you go. An Anon post here in this last post so far, this picture with the title "Where We Go One, We Go All," and it says, "I'd go even if I had to leave early and walk." My expletive there, lol. And what he's responding to is basically an Anon who wrote that, are we going to get a celebration at the White House, I guess, where we get to meet President Trump once this is all over. And this Anon here posts this picture, and I'm not sure if this person is actually a soldier or not, but they put a picture of an active duty, what would seem to be an active duty soldier in some branch of the military, with the insignia "Where we go one, we go all" written on the back of his helmet. So if he is in active duty and all that, then God, I mean, even if he isn't, but still, if he's out there fighting and he's doing this, God bless you and thank you, and stay safe, soldier, and keep fighting the good fight. Q says, thank you for your service. God bless and stay safe, Q. And I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. So, couple more things before we get done with this video. President Trump's been really putting a lot out there, and we have a lot of information going on, or a lot of things going on outside of what's being reported just here through what we're having with President Trump. But I want to talk about this whole hashtag change the laws and what this debate is and how it's been spun to basically just be an excuse to attack President Trump and to attack his administration for things that have been going on for quite some time and really are not that inhumane if you think about it. And the media didn't seem to care when it was going on before, but now all of a sudden it's a big deal because President Trump is public enemy number one as far as they're concerned. So I wanted to point out some interesting finds from a few articles, but before we get into that, there's an interesting theory that I want to go over about what could be another meaning to these cell phone pictures that Q's sending. Now, obviously, the proofs of Q, and they're just pictures of President Trump and basically saying he's near President Trump. But an ANON even took it one step further in giving this explanation, which I thought warranted further review. Talking about how everything has meaning, he summarized the reason for these photos, saying, Q twice asked us how would senators know certain things. Durbin, POTUS uses two phones for one for tweeting, etc., highly classified intel, as we went over in that document before, and the other one was Jackson Lee. So we talked about that in the last video about how Representative Sharon Jackson Lee in the House Intelligence Committee hearings decided to basically interrupt Jim Jordan while he was in the middle of questioning the witness, who happened to be Inspector General Michael Horowitz. And in her interruption, she interjected that the plan that they are going with right now is to fire Rod Rosenstein on Friday. So that's interesting. But then it says Q posts a surveilled photo of POTUS with the title iPhone tweets and the comment, "What a wonderful day." Wonderful day is a signature linked or is linked to Eric Schmidt and Google. Again, how would they know? It says because they are still surveilling POTUS. That close-up proves that technology like Google iPhone backdoors are still being accessed by bad actors, deep state evil, desperate to save themselves. Q has twice mentioned access kills in relation to Google, backdoor software, hardware access. Interesting thought. I don't have enough information yet to say whether this is true or not, but I thought this was an interesting perspective, especially since Q can give us certain posts that have one meaning, but then they definitely have multiple meanings, and this could be another meaning behind what they're suggesting. And it coincides with this letter that's written by Congress, because now they're probably trying to cover their you-know-whats, because they realize that if it comes out that the technology was being used to spy, then it's like, okay, well, why did Eric Schmidt do it? And then it's like, who was Eric Schmidt working for? So there's a lot of people who could be implicated if that were to be exposed. But if that is happening, I'm sure they're quite aware of it, and I'm sure that, to be quite honest, and unfortunately for those who thought they had outsmarted the president, they may be using it as a form of disinformation, because it's very likely that President Trump is quite aware that when he uses a cell phone that may not be fully secured, that it could be tapped and it could have the information broadcast. Maybe he's using that to his advantage to get information out there that and to test to see where the leaks are coming from. Because if the leaks aren't coming from actual staffers in the White House and they're coming from President Trump's cell phones, then I think Google has got some explaining to do. That's all I got to say. Or whoever's involved with it. Apple, Google, whoever's working on this. But in my experience, it's again, Occam's razor. The answer with the least, and Q pointed this out before, it's the answer with the least assumptions is usually the one that's correct. So there is a lot of assumptions there, but then there's a lot of valuable insight. So you guys let me know what you think in deciphering this further, if that could actually be the case when it comes to why we're being shown these cell phone pictures, if there was another reason beside just giving us a proof of Q. And the way they're taken, it kind of looks like they're taken with the cell phone blocking part of the view, so it's like a cell phone and then the President Trump's head and like kind of the camera looking at him. So maybe they're just saying to them, like, we know, like, this is a camera, like this looks like the camera side of a cell phone with President Trump kind of in the background. So maybe that's the message they're sending, is that they know that Twitter is, hacked, used backdoor coding to get into the iPhone somehow, and that would be an interesting turn of events and twist, if you ask me. But obviously, we will continue to watch this and look for updates as we keep going. Now, what I wanted to point out was, when we're talking about change the laws and we're talking about what's going on with President Trump, you just got to see this media show that's going on. Even people are starting to realize that it's all just a big game against Trump. It's just the fad of the month to talk about all this, and then it will fall away. And these are talking points for elections. And the horrifying photos of Obama's illegal alien facilities look a lot like the ones they've been putting all over the news today. If you watch all these photos I'm going to show you are taken during 2014 while President Obama was the head administrator. But I didn't see one of these stories in the news. I didn't see the outrage and the calling President Obama a child abuser. But if you look at these pictures, they look exactly the same. This looks exactly like the ones they're running on the news. And the kids in chain fenced areas in Walmarts or whatever, and in actual prisons. So, look, of course I feel bad for these children. There's no part of me that wants to see children go through this kind of awful pain. But in my opinion, the people who should be held accountable are the parents who have basically exposed their kids to this kind of form of child abuse, in either taking them on this dangerous journey trying to get them into this country, or sending them on their own. In the vast majority of cases, actually, overwhelmingly, the kids aren't even with their parents. They're sent by themselves with these strangers to come here to America. So to me, I have no sympathy for these criminals. And I don't care. You cross the line, you're a criminal. You're not. This is not I feel like this person. See, that's what they want, though. The Democrats want us all to just believe in this, selective application of the law, where certain groups and certain different, basically ethnic and cultural groups are exempt from laws because of their basically protected status, where equal application of the law doesn't apply to them. And it's sad that we have to, basically have the media use these children and try to expose President Trump for doing some kind of human rights violations, when the reality is we treat them better than most any country would in the world. These are people who illegally crossed our border and came into our country. There's dozens of other countries out there who would not even give these people this much. They would probably turn them back at the border, or literally just give them the minimum. These kids are having classes where they're being taught English, they're being taught American civics, they're being given playground time, they're being given food, they're giving beds. Listen, you want to say what you want. Oh, they're breaking up families. You know what I say? Tell the families to get their act together. Tell those people to pick themselves up by the bootstraps in their awful places that they call home. And if they're so bad and awful, as they like to say, that's why they have to be here, then it's like, get your stuff together and make yourself a better life. And it doesn't involve you coming into this country illegally with nothing. What it involves is you having the ability to understand that if you try your best to make your country great, then maybe it'll make things better for you there, and you won't have to come here and detract from what little we actually have when it comes to the ability to administer social welfare programs to a bunch of people who aren't citizens of this country. I mean, it is not that we are heartless, it is that we are pragmatic. It is not that we are, without an ability to empathize. We are simply rational about the problem. We're it's not that we don't feel badly for these children, it's that we believe in the law. So these are the things that I think are important. And then you have like an article like this, and this whatever she is, frazzled haired. She looks like the lady from the Magic School Bus, but like her bizarro world, counterpart. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz here with Bill Nelson, and they're trying to get into one of these apparently temporary shelters for unaccompanied children down in Florida. And just another basically hit piece against President Trump. It's funny how everything that they put out on their little websites, that they are, basically doing their best to destroy President Trump through all of these crazy stories. But what they do is they make this all into a big deal, and it's going to be a big deal for about a month, and then they're going to drop it as the next cycle of news comes in. So I'm not even that worried about it as much as I am worried about the real solutions that we are expecting Congress to enact, as in passing legislation that will have lasting effect on keeping children from being held in these detention centers, because as of now it is the law, and I'm a proponent of enforcing the law. So until that law changes, then I will be a proponent of having these children put into these detention facilities, because not because I am in favor of seeing children put into detention centers, but I am in favor of having those who commit acts which violate the law being properly punished by the law. And even if it is children, even children commit crimes in our society and are held accountable. They don't just get a free pass because they're children. And in my personal opinion, there is only one thing that we can have, or there's only one benefit. Or, well, I should say this differently. There's not one benefit that I can find when considering the entry of these illegal citizens, or these illegal immigrants, I should say. Legal immigrants, bring as many as you can. If you're doing it the right way, I believe you should be here 100%. I have absolutely no quarrel qualm with anybody who is a legal immigrant or people who are trying to become legal immigrants, but I do have a problem with those who come here and use these terrible laws on the books to game our system and to get into our country, and then to basically to become wards of the state, where they're basically being given all of their all of their living wages, and everything is being provided by the state, their health care and their housing and all that stuff. That is what I don't like. That is what I'm against. So that's the article. I wanted to play that for you guys then. There's a big thing brewing, and we'll get into it in later videos, but this is the kind of treatment that President Trump's getting. So here in Capitol Hill, President Trump was in Capitol Hill, and a congressional staffer or intern apparently screamed "F you" at Trump while he was walking through the Capitol building. And I mean, here it is. You guys, I'm sure you guys want to watch it, so here, I'll play it. So I apologize for that, but that was the person yelling, and I just thought you guys would like to see that. So yeah, that's what it is. And yeah, I don't even know what to say, because this is the level of decorum we've gotten to, where we can't have rational debate. We can just get into these vitriolic heated exchanges of, you know, derogatory remarks against one another. There is no consensus building. There is no positive dialogue. It's this kind of stuff. It's this kind of hate. This kind of you know, perturbed individuals' ability or attempt at expressing some kind of frustration with the president by cursing him, which really doesn't accomplish anything other than prove that that person has an inability to hold a decorum for the office of the president of the United States. But that is okay, because that is them, and that is what we're up against. So you guys be aware. It's out there, and that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope that covered everything, and as new Q posts come up, I will let you know. But before we go, a couple of announcements, and these are not going to be announcements for those of you who watch this channel often. But for those of you who don't know and are new to the channel, a couple things I like to keep plugging. Big things coming at American Priority. Again, I'm going to be speaking at the American Priority Conference on a panel. I'll be a part of a panel discussion, and that's September 6th through 8th in Washington, D.C. You guys can get more information at AmericanPriority.com. One of the people who's going to be running this, along with Alex Phillips, is Ali Alexander here. And he is a really great guy. He's done a lot of hard work along with Alex Phillips to build this conference. And today he announced, and I retweeted this here on my Twitter page at Justin_formed, that one of the big speakers, well, he actually basically announced two of the big speakers that'll be at the American Priority Conference, where I'll be participating in the panel. One of them will be C.J. Pearson. For those of you who watch Facebook videos and some YouTube videos, you probably are very knowledgeable of who C.J. Pearson is. But he's basically a young gentleman. I think I don't want to misguess his age, but I think he's in his teens still. And he is a bright young gentleman, bright young kid. He's got a incredible future ahead of him, but he's going to be one of the keynote speakers there, I think. And another person who's going to be there is a person who I really, really respect a lot, who I've been watching for a while, and it's amazing to be participating in a conference where they'll be there, but is apparently going to be Mike Cernovich. So I just thought that was really cool, and as more of the key speakers are going to be announced, I'll let you know. And all the website's going to feature descriptions of what everything is, and you can get tickets there at AmericanPriority.com. And the panel, I have a little bit of an idea of what the panel is that I'll be sitting on, because it'll be with, I believe Lee Stranahan will be doing it, and maybe Laura Loomer will be in it, and possibly Matt Couch. But I'll have way more details as we get closer to the conference. But that's a cool thing, and I just thought you guys would like to know that. Now, another thing is the justinformednews.com website fund. So you guys can go over here to gofundme.com/justinformedtalk if you want to contribute to help me make justinformednews.com. Now, I have a goal here of 5,000. We're doing great. Thank you to everyone who has donated so far. You guys are really what are going to make this website work and be coming up here really soon if you guys keep up this pace. But I want to have Just Informed News so I can share news with you, and I can give you my own videos that I'll upload there. That I'll still go on YouTube, but then I'll have them over there as a backup, and it'll just be a good little website to kind of consolidate a lot of the information that we go over here in this channel. So please go over to gofundme.com/justinformedtalk to get more information on helping out that cause. Now, if you're looking to help the channel, the best way to do it is to come here to this landing page, click the big red subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll be notified when these videos get posted. The second best way is to scroll down at the end of this video, leave your thoughts, theories, and insights in the comments, because like I say, we do our best to have our own QAnon research board at the end of each one of these videos. So I encourage each and every one of you guys to go and get involved down there. And even if you can't leave a comment, just scroll down and read through the comments, because I guarantee you're going to learn something you didn't know. Now, if you're looking to help the channel out financially, this is what keeps the channel running. Patreon, patreon.com/justinformedtalk, or search Just Informed Talk right here in the search bar, when you come to the patreon.com landing page. And you'll come to this landing page, which is my personal channel, Patreon. And what Patreon does is it gives me the ability to continue to post and make information no matter what happens with YouTube, with monetization, because they always seem to be playing some kind of game with that as they're trying to get everything fixed on their end. So this is what makes the difference. This is where I know I can always depend on this so that I can do this full-time, 24/7, 365, continue to bring you guys the information you guys want and give you the information the MSM won't. So come over here to Patreon. I thank you all in advance for your generous donations. Now, before we go, we're going to talk about obviously the most important thing, and that is God. But why is God so important? Well, we ask this question a lot here on the channel because it's an important question to ask if you have the right answers. And in my experience, the right answers usually all, for the most part, can be found in the scripture. And in the scripture, we find so many great uplifting stories and things that we should look to kind of push our lives in the direction that we want to see, because that's a far more important goal for each and every one of us in life, is to focus on what life will be like in heaven and in afterlife here. And what are we building toward here on earth? Are we building toward a good life, or are we building toward a bad afterlife? And I'd like to think that I'm doing my best to become the person that God needs me to be, the person that God deserves me to be. And I pray that for you guys as well. But it's not easy. And in doing so, we are betrayed quite often, whether it's by the forces of evil, or it's by the people who fall through or just things that just don't come to fruition. I know a lot of you out there sometimes may experience that betrayal, and just remember that God's victory will come in spite of the betrayals that we see in our lives. And betrayal is kind of a word that can be interpreted a few different ways. In my opinion, betrayal doesn't just have to mean when somebody betrays you. It could also mean when your ideals or principles are betrayed by yourself, or when you don't enact that love of God in your life every day, or something of that nature. So I want to read Psalm 41 because I think it's going to help everyone, including myself, just remember how we can always find victory with God and His love. So Psalm 41 states, or reads, happy is one who cares for the poor. The Lord will save him in a day of adversity. The Lord will keep him and preserve him. He will be blessed in the land. He will not give him over to the desires of his enemies. The Lord will sustain him on his sickbed. You will heal him on the bed where he lies. I said, Lord, be gracious to me. Heal me, for I have sinned against you. My enemies speak maliciously about me. When will he die and be forgotten? When one of them comes to visit, he speaks deceitfully. He stores up evil in his heart. He goes out and talks. All who hate me whisper together about me. They plan to harm me. Lethal poison has been poured into him, and he won't rise again from where he lies. Even my friend in whom I trusted, one who ate my bread, has lifted up his heel against me. But you, Lord, be gracious to me and raise me up. Then I will repay them. By this I know that you delight in me. My enemy does not shout in triumph over me. You supported me because of my integrity and set me in your presence forever. May the Lord, the God of Israel, be praised, and from everlasting to everlasting. Amen. And that in and of itself, it's kind of a powerful, some of these Psalms can be really powerful and descriptive. And you hear this, and it's a story of a man who's been poisoned, and he's been put down, and he's been poisoned by his enemies, and they hate him, and they want to see his defeat, and they've tried to deceive him. But what happens? What does the man do? Does he go and does he speak of the retribution he will take against his enemies? No. He focuses on how God loves him, on how God is protecting him, and on how God is intervening on his behalf to push him into a higher place. The place where it transcends all the world's evil. The place where we have the love of God in our hearts, and we know that whatever happens here on this earth, we have eternal glory in God with heaven, or in heaven with God. And knowing that is the ultimate peace. And even if you are betrayed, or you falter and betray your own values, just remember that the Lord always leaves that window open. All you have to do is open your heart, say a prayer, ask for forgiveness, and just pray on how God can come into your life and become a stronger force for change in a good way. And we're all being made, and we're all being created every day. And God is a part of that process. So if you reach out to him and you try to include him in that process, great things will happen, because many great blessings are in store for each and every one of you. And you need to believe that, because you need to believe in yourselves. So that's where I'm going to leave it. If you don't take anything else away, just remember God absolutely loves you, and that you're only a prayer away from starting that conversation again. And no matter what happens, that you will see victory in the end, as long as you have Jesus in your heart and the knowledge that you will spend eternity in heaven with him, because he died on the cross for your sins. But that's going to be it. I want to say thank you to everyone. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, now is a great time to do it. Please come here, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell notifications. But that's going to be it for this episode of Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.